Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another episode of the strategy series. This time we're going to go over 5 different ways that you guys can combo more efficiently. So this is a really big thing I noticed when I try to teach new people how to play the game, or I see people not playing as optimally as they possibly could. One of the biggest skills you can have in this game at this current moment with how young it is comboing. Comboing in the most efficient ways is going to lead you to more wins if you're not doing it as optimally as you possibly can at the current moment. With more counterplay cards coming out and more abilities that kind of operate on your opponent's turn, there's going to be more counterplay there, kind of. But as of right now, I would say, and I think a lot of people would agree with me, that the most skill-intensive part of this game is comboing efficiently and preserving resources. So if you guys haven't seen my video from last week explaining card advantage and card economy, definitely check that out. We'll drop the link for that down in the description below, but that's going to be kind of an important precursor to this video specifically. So you are going to have watched that video first to truly understand a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about here. So before we do get into this video, guys, if you're new to the channel, hitting that subscribe button and hit that notification bell would be amazing, because then you guys can stay up to date with all the awesome Dragon Ball Super content we provide here throughout the week. If you guys are looking for a Dragon Ball Super community to just get in touch with and talk to, get advice on your decks, just talk about the game, things like that, check out our Discord server in the description below. Very, very active Discord there. It's honestly an amazing community. And number 3, if you guys are longtime fans of the channel or looking to get up on some more competitive content in the game, you should consider checking out my Patreon, which is also in the description below. It's a way to support me if you like the channel. It just helps me keep bringing you guys this content that you guys know and love. And I also, like I said before, am putting a lot of competitive content out on the Patreon lately. So like today, for example, I actually posted another article talking a little bit about thinking before you combo and how to make that competitive mind shift to treat your cards more like active resources. That's another thing that has to do with card advantage and comboing correctly, is viewing your cards as like a resource and a value resource that you can't waste. So that article talks about that. I strongly recommend checking that out. It'll kind of complement this video nicely, so definitely check that out. But we'll get into this video. So if you did see my last video about card advantage and card economy, you might be asking yourself, well, why is any of this important? Especially if you're trying to get more competitive in the game. So if you are wondering that, it kind of gets into the entire reason that I love this game. I love this game because it's essentially the epitome of card advantage. It's the epitome of resource management. Whoever can play with their resources better, whoever can kind of use their resources in a more efficient fashion, will usually win the game. That's why a lot of games come down to who can combo higher. If your opponent is attacking you with a double strike and you're at 2 life, if they combo higher than you, it's most likely the fact that they're going to win that game because they have more resources than you. Now, there are some cards, of course, that bypass resources. I mean, think about like Cell Chain, Gogeta 7, some kind of borderline unfair things like that. But 9 times out of 10, when you're playing Dragon Ball Super, especially at a casual level, so this video is actually really good for you guys that play at locals, that want to do better at your locals, that play against more casual fair decks. It's going to come down to who can combo more and who has more cards to combo with, and comboing efficiently and comboing correctly is going to be a big key piece of that. So we're going to talk about that, 5 different ways you guys can combo more efficiently. So guys, the number 1 thing I see new players do when they just start the game, they came from usually Yu-Gi-Oh! When I'm teaching a new player to play the game, and the combo mechanic is completely new to them, they combo offensively for no reason, and that's usually in the early game, right? So this is going to be a really beginner fact. A lot of you guys might know this, but if you are new to this game, you might not know this. When you're attacking your opponent's leader, right? Most leaders in this game, when they attack a leader, they draw a card. So we're going to take that example. When you attack your opponent's leader, you draw 1 card. So that's a +1. You understand what I'm talking about if you watch my video from last week. So you +1 when you attack your opponent's leader. It is up to them to negate. If they negate, they'll neg another 1, which is good for you. They're most likely not going to negate, especially if they know what they're doing, and it's like very early game, like turn 1, turn 2. They are either up to them to combo out of that attack. Again, usually going to result in a neg 1 unless they waste a super combo for some terrible reason, or they're going to take a damage, meaning they're going to +1 off their life. So in that exchange, you have +1 by drawing with your leader effect. Your opponent has also +1 by taking a damage. So in overall card economy, there's a net 0 advantage game between both players. You've gained 1, your opponent's gained 1, net 0 advantage. Now, some people, when I teach them the game, like the first game they play right off the bat, they're attacking their opponent at 8 life with a leader that draws a card, or any leader, for example, and they're like, well, I want to combo this, I want to make my attack bigger because I'm only 10k and you can combo out of this. What they don't understand is, of course they're brand new to the game. What they don't understand is that that's just wasting a card for no reason, because there's almost no reason in the world your opponent is going to combo out of that damage. So you comboing into it is just straight up a waste waste of a card. You're just taking a -1 for no reason. And any negs you take over the course of the game, especially during combos that were unnecessary, is usually going to lead to you having less cards in the end of the game to combo with, and leading to you to lose. So that's the number one thing I see new players do. That's one way you can combo more efficiently, is don't combo offensively for no reason. Think before you combo. Number 2, now I'm going to bring up a card up on the screen here. You want to, when you're comboing to attack over something or to deal damage to a leader, you usually, in most cases, want to combo so that you match the number in the thousands place. Now, if you guys remember, I think from like 2nd grade math, the thousands place, there's like, you know, the ones, tens, hundreds, and then the thousands. This game usually goes up to the 10,000s, you know, 15k power, 20k power. That you want to match the the thousands place. You want to match the thousands place when you're comboing up something. Well, why is that? So if you look at most 10k combos in this game, right? Most 10k combos in this game usually draw cards. You have your super combos, you have your fake super combos that usually draw cards. So let's say I'm trying to attack over a Vegito, right? An awe-inspiring Vegito with my leader, let's say, my 15k leader. I attack the Vegito's bigger. I need to combo something in order to get over it, right? So what happens is I can combo a 5k, match it at 20. Usually against a Vegito, it's not going to be enough, but that's besides the point. Or I can use a super combo. Let's say those are my 2 options. I can use any 5k in my hand, or I can use a super combo. So if I use a 5k, that would match me 20 for 20. If I use the super combo, it would bring me a 25 to my opponent's 20, right? So now there's 2 scenarios in which my opponent can respond. If my opponent responds with a 5k combo, almost all 5k combos in this game straight up become a -1. Most 5k combos in this game do not draw a card, so they're probably going to -1 if they use a 5k to combo out of it. If I if I super combo, I'm 25 to their 20, and now if they super combo or use a 10k combo that draws a card, or even use a 10k that doesn't draw a card, worst case scenario, if they use a 10k doesn't draw a card, they -1 just like they would have with a 5k, but now I wasted a super combo to essentially, you know, push no damage through. Or they're going to use a super combo and they're not going to -1. They're going to defend their Vegito essentially for free. Now, this might sound a little bit weird because we're talking about very small numbers. Well, you only got up to 20k or 25k on a Vegito. This matters a lot more when you're trying to combo up to big numbers. So normally against a Vegito, you're going to combo up to something like 50, 60k. This matters a lot when you're trying to determine how efficiently to use your super combos to get up to a number. I cover this actual specific example a lot more actually in that Patreon article that I mentioned, so I do recommend checking that out. But long story short, you want to match the thousands place whenever you're trying to combo to attack something. There are some examples to this, like if it's early game and your opponent has absolutely no potential to use a super combo and draw a card, or use a fake super combo, then it's like okay to kind of break that rule. But 9 times out of 10, the rule of thumb is you want to match the thousands place when you're attacking into something or trying to deal damage through, you know, whatever it could be. If your opponent's at 15, you want to deal damage, you're going to want to go for 55 rather than 50 if your opponent's at 15k. Just good to note. Then we have don't over combo on defense. So super combos, it's like the unspokenly best card in the game. No matter what deck you're playing, your super combo is arguably the best card in your deck just because it's so free. It's a 10k combo, it draws a card. The value there is just insane. So let's say your opponent's attacking you. Let's say your opponent is attacking you 15 at 15 at your leader. You really don't want to take this damage. Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to super combo out of that, or are you going to drop a 5k to not take a damage? You really should just drop the 5k to not take the damage, because if you're going to waste that super combo, you're going to over combo. So when your opponent attacks you for a 15 at your 15, you only need to waste 5k. So if you use a 10k, you've comboed essentially an extra 5k for no reason, but you are drawing a card back. So like, oh, that's great, it's free. But then what happens is you're going to get screwed in the future because your opponent's going to attack you something bigger, either that same turn or the next turn or whatever the case may be, and you're not going to have that super combo then in there to defend against that bigger attack where it's going to be more important. Kind of like if your opponent attacks you with a small thing and you only have to waste 1 card, take that as like a saving grace, like, oh, thank goodness, like I just need to waste 1 card to get out of this. You don't want to over combo, especially with super combos. Now there are again exceptions to this. If like the last few cards in your hand are what you need to kill your opponent on the following turn, of course you're not going to combo those away. But normally in this game, you know, everyone's sitting at like a 10 card hand. you need to be very, very nitpicky with what you use on defense, and that can come into a problem later when you need to use your super combos to push offensively, especially if you made the mistake of using them defensively to over combo your opponent. So that's going to be the number 3. Don't over combo on defense. Try your best to just combo the bare minimum of what you need to do to defend out of a damage or defend one of your battle cards. Number 4, this kind of plays exactly into what we just talked about. In the late game, you want to save super combos and use your negates. So the way the game typically goes is turn 4, turn 5. That's usually where most games are going to end up ending. Someone's going to win or lose in that turn range. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you use your negates in the late game and not your super combos. Well, why is that? Let's say I'm on my turn 4, right? My opponent's on their 5 energy, let's just say. They're doing their thing, they're wombo comboing, they're going crazy, they're doing their plays, and they start attacking me, trying to, win or push damage through, whatever the case may be. I can either not negate and let it go to combos, or I can negate and stop the attack altogether, assuming, they don't have battering, or assuming their guy's not unnegatable, whatever the case may be. So you want to use your negates there, because when you go back to your turn, if you know for a fact you can survive the turn, when you go back to your turn and you're trying to kill them, you don't want to have a dead negate in your hand, because guess what? Negates don't have combo power, right? So you want to make sure that you're maximizing your combos in that way, where you're able to put out the max amount of combo on an offensive attack, especially if it's going for game. Like in this situation I just presented to you guys, if your opponent trying to kill you but you survive the turn, and they're at 2 life, let's say you have a double striker, you attack, they say no counters, you want to have as much combo power in your hand as possible. Like super combos are great for defense, but when you are able to drop like 2 to 3 super combos on a game's ending swing, it's so unlikely your opponent's gonna be able to win off that. So like I said, late game, number 4, you want to save your super combos for offense and use your negates on defense. And if your negates have sparking, another added fact, and you're gonna for a fact that like it's your opponent's last swing, you're gonna survive the turn, use that negate to take the life, because it's another card you can gain to attack and combo into killing your opponent. So definitely do that. Number 5, this is one that I've actually gotten pretty used to lately. It's one of my favorite rules. It's kind of a little bit controversial, but I'm a big fan of it, and a lot of my testing partners are a big fan of it. So number 5 is going to be learn to play at 3 life when your opponent's deck does not have access to a triple striker. That's a really important key thing there. I'm not saying play every game at 3 life, but when your opponent's deck does not have access to a triple striker or some way to easily deal 3 damage, play at 3 life. I remember when I first started playing this game in set 2 format, it was blue green soul striker. That was a deck that I played, and you had like Vegeta, you had like Golden Frieza in the format. It was very typical. Everyone pretty much just played defense in their life as soon as they hit 4 life, and that was another format where especially nothing really had triple strike. So I wish I would have known now what I know back then. Learn to play at 3 life when your opponent does not have access to a triple strike, because if you start defending at 4 life, you're losing cards early on. Like for example, like I said before, every 5k combo essentially is a neg-1, just straight up a neg-1 that you could have used to deal damage to your opponent or get over one of your opponent's battle cards. So if you learn to just play at 3 life, you'll actually plus a card when they put you down to 3 instead of negging one when you're trying to not go down to 3. If you're following what I'm saying with card advantage, you plus 1 instead of negging 1 if you learn to play at 3 when it's a safe situation to do so. That's going to give you more cards to either kill your opponent or get over your opponent's board or remove your opponent's board, what have you. That's kind of the case there. So number 5, learn to play at 3 life. Learn to feel comfortable with that, and especially learn to analyze the scenarios in which your opponent's deck does not have access to a triple striker. So with that being said, guys, those are my 5 tips for comboing more efficiently. Just a strategy tip that you guys can use to improve your game and tighten up, no matter if you're a competitive player or a casual player. I mean, even if you're a casual player, I'm sure it feels good to win, right? Even if you're going to locals, slamming down your mono green Namekians against your opponent's mono red Pilaf, you want to still be able to play to the best of your ability. You want to have fun, and winning is definitely fun a lot of the time. For casual players, it's definitely not the most important thing, but it's still a very, very fun thing. So just a quick recap. Number 1, don't offensively combo for no reason, especially if it's early game. Especially if your opponent's 8 life, there's no reason to waste a card comboing, unless like you're digging for a card. But even then, like, not worth it. Just not worth it. Number 2, when you're comboing to deal damage or to kill a battle card, match the thousands place in combos. If you're attacking a 15k leader and you're only a 10, you want to go up to 15 and match that. You don't want to go to 20 because you'll easily get outvalued there. Number 3, don't over combo on defense, especially not wasting super combos to do so. If you only need to use 5k, try your best just to use a 5k. And number 4, in the late game, you're going to want to use your negates and save your super combos for offensive pushes. Number 5, learn to play at 3 life when your opponent does not have access to a triple striker. This is one of the most important things I think you can learn, honestly, number 5, and I think it's one of the things that if you can learn how to do well, I think this can actually take your game up a couple notches by learning how to do this efficiently. So guys, those are my 5 tips. Let me know down in the comments below if any of these work out for you. Let me know if you guys have any other comboing tips that you find really helpful that I might have missed. Let me know if you guys find the strategy series, helpful in general. I want to start bringing you guys more strategy series, at least like once a week, once every other week. When I find something that is of value to bring to you guys, I want to start doing this more often. I hope that these videos are helpful to you guys. Let me know if they are, and I hope they are. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. My name's Joey. This is Crossworld TCG, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Hey, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Thanks for watching that video. If you would be so kind to drop a sub, maybe check out some of our videos. If the end card is even there, the hardest part of doing YouTube is not the editing, it's not the videos, it's not the content creation, it's that YouTube just doesn't want to work sometimes. So hopefully that stuff is there. You guys are awesome. I'll see you in the next one.